Welcome, everybody, to our weekly Friday presentation of Recovery Live. I'm Tom, recovered alcoholic addict. It's a beautiful day here in New Jersey, Father's Day weekend here in the United States. I don't know if it is in the UK or some of the other places that we stream to, but it is Father's Day weekend here in the United States, June 17th. We're approaching the longest day of the year, my favorite time of year when the days are really, really long. I want to welcome everybody as you start to join our broadcast from around the country and around the world, where we're going to talk everything recovery here. Came to Believe Recovery has been in existence as a nonprofit since 2015 and has been working, independently since the 1960s when Clarence Snyder started the retreats that are the backbone of everything that we do by presenting the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous as close to the way the founders were doing it down in the 1930s as we know. And we have it right from the horse's mouth. And so we try to stick to that. And those guys called themselves Recovered. So we let all of our people know that they could too. If they wanted, they could call themselves Recovered. I want to welcome some people. Dale Barker from Christmas, Florida. Taryn Price has joined us from the Mojave Desert. And Tom Clancy has joined us from, he's in outside Chicago, I believe. Welcome, everybody. Today, I believe Tom is going to join us in the new Indiana retreat at the end of August. Taryn is getting ready. We're going to be putting on a retreat middle of July out in Prescott, Arizona. I used to say Prescott, guys, and Taryn corrected me. It's Prescott. That's how they say it. So I'm pretty good at it, I hope, today, Taryn, with how I pronounce it. But the really exciting thing, guys, along with everything else going on, it Came to Believe Recovery lately, and all the retreats that we've had, we're running a little ahead of what we can handle, but I just don't say no. We're heading off to Missouri next week with a team to bring the program to an area where we have no presence at all. And so we're going to take it in there and we're going to present the steps in the program, and we're going to leave them with the ability to carry on and have meetings and launch a growth platform to allow us to have expanded into this area in Missouri. And with all that being said, I'd like to welcome my co-host today from St. Joseph, Missouri, Tim Doyle. How are you doing today, Tim?
Good morning, Tom. Awesome to be with you today.
It's great. Tim and I met, it hasn't even been that long ago.
No.
Just a few months ago, and we kind of fast-tracked this whole thing with the need in Missouri, but we're going to go this weekend. I'm so excited, Tim, after the meeting we had yesterday. We've been having planning meetings, guys, about the program and what we're doing. And it's a little different for Came to Believe. We're coming in, but we're going to be very successful at it. And we're going to launch the ability for Tim and his staff and people there to be able to add a tool to the toolbox of helping people.
Excited for that.
Yeah. Tim, why don't you give us just a 2-second background on what the need is over there, and why you find it so maybe compelling to have us come and be a tool in the toolbox.
I'm sure, Tom, like every place in the country, everyone's seeing a rise in addiction, especially in the wake of the pandemic. But it was a problem here even before that. I think the pandemic just exacerbated it. But to see the lives of men and women and families being ruined by substance abuse, of course, alcohol abuse, but meth is a huge problem here in Missouri. I'm not sure why. We're kind of on a flyway from Mexico to Canada, and the main interstate runs right through our city. So I think we get a lot of traffic through here, and just seeing an increase. I've been pastoring now for 12 years in this city, and definitely seeing an uptick. But the good news is I've also seen men and women coming who are really wanting to make a change in their life. And when I first heard about Came to Believe, I realized this was exactly the tool that we needed to bring to our community and to the region. Like you say, nothing like this in the St. Joseph or Kansas City region. We're about 30 minutes north of Kansas City. So we're sort of, I guess, a bedroom community of Kansas City. So this entire region, it's a huge population, and just really excited for the chance to get up to speed and begin to provide these resources for these individuals, these families who desperately need it.
Folks, and that is, we're so excited too, Tim, and we, are looking for these avenues to reach the people that need help. And where do the people go that need help? They go to like rehabs, and they go to homeless shelters, they go to rescue missions, but they go to churches for help. They go to places like where you are, because Tim is a pastor at Restoration Church in St. Joe's. And so it's a natural place for people to come. And that was part of the impetus, right? These people were showing up at your church,
Right,
with a need that was tough to fill. It was an additional need.
yeah.
And you've had such an open heart and spirit about two things. One is that you don't have the answer for all of this, and you got to provide one. Try to.
And I think too, Tom, falling in love with these men and women, they're just awesome individuals. They're trying so hard to get their life turned around. And many of them have been incarcerated. They've come probably from generational dysfunction in their family, and just wanting to do everything we can to help them succeed and surround them with a family who loves them. And the heartbreaking thing for me, and the learning curve that we're on, is that oftentimes they'll fall into relapse, and then we won't see them for a while. And it kills me as a pastor, as a leader. But I also am learning that we can figure out how to walk with these men and women, even through really difficult times, and just not abandon them, especially in those moments of vulnerability when they probably are used to being rejected by most people. When they fall, and there are people might be judging them or saying, I knew it, I know you weren't sincere, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I think for us, I just am so excited. It's like the perfect marriage for me, for the heart of our people, what we want to do, and then the people that are coming to us. I just really feel like word is going to get on the street that there is an opportunity to, as you said, bring one more tool to the toolkit for us to help these men and women in recovery.
Tim, when you said to me, you told me a story that you've told on here before about, and how it surprised you when one of these, that had shown up at was so thankful that you let him come to church.
Yeah, that's makes me cry. So thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, not long after we had a fairly significant number of men and women come into Restoration, took a few to lunch one day. We were just sitting around. There's this awesome young man sitting across the table from me. And I was just saying, man, I'm so glad you guys are coming, and it's awesome to have you. And he's like, well, thank you for letting us come. And honestly, it was like a foreign language. I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. Of course we would let you come. And he's like, but that's not the case everywhere. He said, we are not welcome most places. And oh my gosh, it broke me. And then I began to kind of realize the situation that these guys and gals are in, that not only is there the struggle to get out of the addictive behavior they've been in, but also the stigma that is attached to their situation. And I can somewhat relate to them. I was raised in an alcoholic home myself. And although I never did become an alcoholic, which is rare, right? Usually the children follow the pattern. So I do, though, understand the impact of what can happen when addiction is dominant in a home. I understand the abuse, physical abuse that I endured. Just the sense of feeling like you don't belong anywhere. I totally get that feeling. I understand, which is probably why they feel welcome in our house, right? That they realize that there is a family that, we don't ever affirm their behavior, but you certainly love the individual. And I'm just all about anything we can do to help them find the freedom that they're looking for.
It's great. Tim Seitz has joined us from Wisconsin. Doc Roth is our faithful watcher from Las Vegas. Dale Barker is on. He's coming with us to the for the team coming in. So Dale you'll meet him in person. You met him on Zoom the other day. We're going to have a good time. Sue Foreman is watching with us today. One of our writers of the Legacy Guide, penners of the Legacy Guide, watching us. So we better be on our best behavior, Tim. Sue is watching.
No pressure.
I'll get a phone call later from Sue. Anyway, I've known Sue for many, many years. So, you know, Tim, one of the things that we're so appreciative of you, it stems from something that you said, that they said, that they are not welcome everywhere. Yeah. There's a demographic. And it's true. And that's a shame. And it's a sadness that faith communities, general communities, society in general can really reject this demographic for, you know, it's a lifestyle choice. You know, we chose to do it. There's a level. And you're giving us this opportunity, he's giving us this opportunity, folks in the audience, to actually speak to his congregation while we're there. And this is such a powerful thing for us, because Tim, even we as recovered people still aren't welcome everywhere.
Right.
So for you to welcome us and allow us to come and speak to your, and try to relieve that stigma a little bit, and educate the general public on what it is and who we are, and we're real people, and that we were them,
right, and
now we're us.
Yeah.
I think it's just, we were so touched by it yesterday, Tim, after you left our Zoom, Alicia, Dale, and I, about what we're going to do. So touched with how we felt really, really led that this is such the right thing.
Awesome. Well, and when you were here, Tom, before, you saw it. You know, we gave people the opportunity to text in questions live. And I mean, they just poured in. So it tells you that these are issues. These are real issues people are dealing with. And what's interesting is, of course, we think about the addict. We think about the stereotypical, you know, guy in the gutter kind of thing. But I think there are more people dealing with addiction than we ever realized. I heard this statistic years ago that over 50% of men in the average church are addicted to pornography. And it's like, I couldn't believe it at first. But statistics bear it out. And I remember telling that to a pastor one time. I said, you know, have you heard this, that 50% of our men in our churches are dealing with an addiction, not just a temptation, but they can't not look at it. And he goes, I don't believe that. And I said, well, why would you not believe that? He goes, well, not my men. He said, no. I'm not addicted, so I don't think mine. And I was like, please don't tell your men that, because now they can't come clean with the struggle that they're having and find help, because they think, oh, a man of God would never. And so we're kind of punching holes in the lie that says this couldn't happen to me, or I'm struggling, I dare not share that with anybody, or I'm outed and I'll be excommunicated from the community. That's the sad truth. And I think that's why, Tom, what we're doing is so powerful, even for men and women who struggle with, you know, addictions that might not seem quite as serious, like food addictions or, you know, smoking, those kinds of things that are a little more socially acceptable. You know,
social media.
Right. I think Alicia said this the other day on our call. She said, or they don't think they're addicted. Right. And we give people a chance to ask the questions, to get educated. How can I support men and women who really struggle sincerely? Or if I am struggling, how do I get help? It's just, I think it's hitting on multiple levels. That's why it's so beautiful.
Hey, I just was informed too that Steve Foreman is actually watching as well. He must be on with Steve. So welcome. There it is. Lisa put it up. Steve is there too. We are hoping for another guest to join with us. Daryl M from California. He's having some technical issues, so we'll just drive on until he can come on, because we can keep the conversation going. Melissa from Wales. Yes. Hi, Melissa. So we got people all the way from the California, Nevada, Midwest, East Coast, and Wales.
Awesome.
Watching us, Tim.
Love it.
You know, I think you're so right with those things that people are suffering from. And then they think, and I think this is from society and from just things that we've all been trained, is that you can't then come to church if you were to out yourself as, because you're not perfect. We all walk in the door and we're supposed to be perfect.
Yeah. Ha ha ha.
right? And that even while we're not perfect, working towards it does not mean we can't show up in a faith community
Absolutely.
and be part of it. And your community, it's so. I told Alicia and Dale, wait till you come and see what he's doing there. The attitude that you can come in as a struggling and growing person and be just loved, because you're just being dishonest, I think, if you say you're not struggling with
Right.
just something in
Sure.
life at some
Absolutely.
level.
Absolutely.
We're all, that's why we're coming in fellowship together to grow and strengthen and continue, right?
Exactly. I think that's the thing that we've been seeing a culture change happen within our people. That as we're kind of in an inner city, not in a super like depressed inner city area, but just we're kind of in an area where people are walking to church from the loft apartments that are nearby, and there's also homeless that are walking around. Sometimes they'll walk into our church, and it's helped us really open our eyes to realize how we can really serve and love our community as a whole, and not be this little exclusive club. It's like church has become a country club or something. And if you don't look and talk and smell and act like I do, so it's been fun to watch this culture change taking place. And that's what really jazzed me. I met one of your colleagues at a conference, and he said, "Boy, my church is mostly made up of former meth addicts." And I'm like, "Really?" And he said, "And I'm a former meth addict." And I said, "No way." And I see this guy, this awesome guy. And I thought, whatever that is, we need that tool. And again, I realize it's a process. There's no wave the magic wand and poof, it's a journey. But we have to be willing to walk with one another through that journey. When we succeed, when we don't, when we're having an up day, a down day.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm excited to tell them about these follow-up meetings. So it's not just a one-off. We
Mhm.
hit and run, an ongoing opportunity to walk with men and women, and then to train up our leaders here to be able to conduct that process. Just take it and run with it and make it our own. And I just think there's so much potential here. I was excited to connect with some of the, like you said, the rehab type programs here in our
Mhm.
city, some of the shelters that take in men and women who this has been a lifestyle, and to offer them this chance as well. Again, one more resource. There's lots of other tools, lots of other programs that people are finding help from. And most of our men and women are already plugged into one of those. And that's great. We just know there's other things that are also available to come alongside that we can provide that would be unique to us. And if those can be also an additional help, all the better.
So that's great. And that was a great intro to what we want to talk about today, too. Um, but I wanted to go back and just comment on top of what you were talking about us all growing from different places, and that we need to be open. One of our secret sauce, our specialty, is meeting the least and last and the lost right where they're at, and coming at them without any expectation, or have them come from some spiritual high ground and be able to look them in the eye and say,
Right.
we meet you where you're at. And that has been something that Came to Believe and the founders of Alcoholics, it's part of what they wanted to be able to do,
Yeah.
stand outside the door. And I'm actually going to read that poem, part of that poem, to your congregation when they come,
Cool.
because it explains the position that we like to stay in, to be able to be so attractive to the addict and then be able to introduce them to a relationship with a God
Right.
that could then save them. But you're right, Tim. There are so many things. We were talking behind the scenes before, guys. Came to Believe has a medically aided treatment statement, because at one time, Tim, we were accused, but not accused, I shouldn't say. There was a comment made by somebody that said, well, you guys are AA and you don't believe in medically aided. Um,
Mm,
we don't believe in, it's just
yeah,
God or this 12
right.
step. And that isn't true. We believe that the 12 steps, and so did the founders, could fit in somewhere along a process. And there are medical conditions, detox, rehab, all these things. And along with that, there are some other programs, NA, OA, Gamblers Anonymous. I think there's even SA. There's these programs that people join that provide huge benefit. And we're a partner organization alongside them. We don't see ourselves above or anywhere. We have a message that we present, and we just hope, want to be, like you said, that tool in the toolbox for people to know. We do have our guest, Tim, who is in our back room now. So today we are going to talk about this very issue. And one of the things that's kind of been a challenge for Tim and us in Came to Believe around the country and in St. Joseph is this cross program issue, where those in certain programs feeling one way or the other about working with other programs. And so we just wanted to open that discussion today about how the programs work together and just make sure that all people are involved and we can get an intelligent dialogue going about that. So I would like to welcome Daryl M. from, I think he's around Oroville, California, to the show today. There's a circle. He's coming on. Now, this is when we need the Jeopardy music. D. Conniff. Well, let's see who. While he's linking on, D. Conniff. We lost him. D. Conniff. She's in Manchester, England. Carrie Toon has joined us. Tim, she's also going to be part of the team that comes.
Awesome.
Casera, our registration expert behind the scenes, is on with us today too. So we'll just go on ourselves, Tim, talking about this, and if Daryl can join us, he can.
Well, you triggered a thought, Tom, when you were mentioning these other programs. Mm-hmm. I've seen that as a pastor between churches. We are all on the same team. We're working toward the same goal. And yet oftentimes it's easy to slip into competitor mode where we feel like, well, if you acknowledge that place has something good going on, then it takes something away from me. No. We need each other. We work together synergistically. I'm thankful for these programs that have helped these men and women come to the point where they're at. My gosh, I mean, they're walking clean and sober for 3 months, 6 months. It blows me away. I meet these awesome young men and women, and we begin to discuss, and they're like, yeah, I've been clean for 30 days now. And I'm just like, whoa, 30 days. I mean, it's like, it almost like puts fear in me. I'm like, oh no, like they're a fragile little egg or something. then I realize, look at what they have done. They're rock stars. I mean, look how far they've come in a short window of time. And then it also kind of makes me sad to think about the life they had before. So it makes me just determined to do whatever we can do, working with these programs, whatever works, right? That's what we're for. And I just believe, from what I've learned about Came to Believe, that it's one more thing that seems to work really, really well.
Really well. So just for the audience too, I've been doing some research, Tim, about all these other programs and where they came from. And just for us to have a little background. So the first one was Alcoholics Anonymous. The first 12-step program was the Alcoholics Anonymous, with the big book that was written and published in 1938, 39. I'm not as big a date person. And Narcotics Anonymous was formed in 1953. But it was formed with the basis of the 12 steps from Alcoholics Anonymous is how it was formed. And there's some subtle differences in their language and things that they say. Overeaters Anonymous, interestingly enough, came in about 1960 and also purports to be based in the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And they started about 2 years after Gamblers Anonymous. So Gamblers Anonymous was something in 1959. So I guess, and I should know this better. I would have thought that Narcotics Anonymous was much newer. Would you have thought that too, Tim?
I would have. I mean, you think about that the need was that great back then, that they developed a program around it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, 1953, we all think of the drug era. I do anyway, of in the 60s. Like you think 68, it came in. I would have thought, if you asked me when do you think Narcotics Anonymous? I would have said in the 60s or 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But 1953. Now, they're so big, Tim, today. There's 77,000 meetings in 144 countries right now.
Wow.
Right. So they're serving a huge demographic and a huge population. So it's somebody that we absolutely would never want to and aren't in any kind of competition with, like you say. We want to come alongside and we just want to share our knowledge.
Right.
Now, the interesting thing, though, is that they do all say they came from the 12-step program.
Mm-hmm.
So why they felt rightly that there's a little bit of differences because of the way it presents in their life, that they created these different programs. And that's what happened, Tim, is they felt like there was some little subtleties.
Right.
But I think what we want to do here today, you and I, Restoration Church, Came to Believe Recovery, is to dispel any competition, any myth that we are in any kind of competition with any of them, and wouldn't support everything that they're doing. And just again, we're saying this the 100th time, guys, but it's so true. We want to be another tool.
Yeah.
But Tim, we really do want to be that tool, because we find that a lot of times there's struggling people in addiction who just don't know that when everything was the most successful, it was when it was back at the 12 steps. Now,
right.
It could be that the narcotics would say to you, well, it wasn't so successful for the narcotics people. That's why they have that now.
Right.
Right. So we're good with it. But being able to give this message and some foundation for where those guys, what those guys were doing, that was the history. You know, it's like wanting to know your U.S. history to figure out what,
right,
why what we're doing today
works
or doesn't work. Right. We think a little differently about it. So that's what we want to do. We're not coming into your community to tell them they're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're coming in to say, this worked for us. Here's some extra things for you guys to think about. Here's a program over this weekend. Maybe it can help.
Yeah, I found it interesting, Tom, when you were here and listening to you dialogue with some of our men and women who are in NA or other recovery groups, that you were talking the same language, you know, talking about the 12 steps, and they knew exactly what you were talking about. You knew exactly what they were talking about. And I found it encouraging. I thought we already have a common ground here. That's awesome. So that we're not introducing something totally new, some new concept. No, like you say, it's been around a long time. And it's encouraging to me to be able to look at something. It's sort of like, again, I, as a Christian, it's like I can come around someone who maybe is in a different denomination, a different stream that I'm in, and appreciate the strength that they bring to the whole and look at it from a different angle, different lens. And it only makes me appreciate what I have all the more. I think that's what I see with Came to Believe. You're sharing these common values and approaches, and already people are accustomed to that. That's the language that they're used to. So this can only add strength to the path that they've already been walking.
It do. And so if you're out there and you're listening and you're in the St. Joseph's area and you're scratching your head about something like this, and that it would be, you know, some sort of betrayal of the organization that you're already part of, please don't take it that way. We would love to see you come and just hear the message. Here's some history, guys. Here's some things about where things came from. We'd love to just talk to you. We'd love to talk about living in the go. And we'd love to even get in a discussion with you about why they said they were recovered and why so many organizations will tell you that you're always recovering, Tim.
Yeah. You know, and I think it's almost like, Tom, that why wouldn't we want to work together? What we can do to amp up our ability to really make a difference and help those that are struggling. That's my whole perspective. It's all about the people that are wanting to find freedom. We approach it from that rather than trying to protect our turf.
Right.
I think then we have this beautiful synergistic partnership that will see so much more response, so much more success than if we try to do it siloed on our own. We are better together, someone said, and I totally believe that.
And, Tim, we're not just, um, open to people from NA or OA or
Sure,
Gamblers Anonymous.
sure.
We're open to their family members, their
Absolutely.
brothers, their sisters, their bosses. It's why we fit so well with all of this. Anyone can come and hear this message
Yeah.
and get some benefit from it. We're open to all of them. So that's another invitation, guys, is that it doesn't matter what you're in brokenness from or what you're struggling from. If you want to come and hear about a tool to help you with freedom and living life, just come. We'd love to talk to you about it and hear what's working for you.
Absolutely.
Anna Branson's with us. She says better together, right? They're agreeing with you, Tim. Starlina Thaxton. Starlina, where are you from? She says absolutely. So it's probably something you said. There's a lot of hashtag recovered. Thanks, guys. Lisa is behind the scenes getting ready to do our t-shirt giveaway, and they already know hashtag recovered puts them in the t-shirt drawing. So they all know that. Lisa, you see that? They want it. Starlina's in Kentucky. We do have a contingent from Kentucky. Hey guys, what we were hoping to get Daryl on the show today, but if there's anyone out there who is an NA member, a strong NA member, and would love to come on with Tim and I right now, we'd love to put an open call out. If you're somebody from NA and has an experience and something to share along the lines of this conversation, let us know in the chat, and Lisa will forward you the link, and you can pop on and help us. We'd be all right with that, right, Tim?
Absolutely. And I'll make a shameless plug here. One of the benefits of this particular retreat is we are in this super cool 1850s warehouse in downtown St. Joseph. And it's like, I don't want to say this boastfully, but we're kind of unique as a church. I don't know any other church that is in the setting that we're in. And so what I want to say is it's not real churchy. So if you're like turned off by the fact that it's at a church, don't let that stop you. I mean, I really love what's happening, and our building sort of fits the people. somebody said to us, and I think they weren't being kind, said, "You're just like a church of misfits." Well, we are in process, just like this old building, and it kind of, I think it would let your guard down. You're not going to be in this typical church atmosphere. You're going to be in this really cool kind of vintage vibe. And my wife has done just a terrific job of making that place feel like home. And so the experience itself, I think, will be one benefit to this particular retreat. And I'm so excited to get to hang out with your team, Tom. You've got some amazing people on board with you, and many of them are coming from different parts of the country. I'm excited for my people. Like you said, we'll have you up on the platform even Sunday morning doing a Q&A, and people will get a chance to interact with your team, to ask questions. I can even see some private conversations happening in the corner, right? Because I want to ask this question, but I don't want anybody to know. So it's just like, how fun will this be, and how beneficial for folks who are just learning about how not only, again, to help a loved one or a friend who's struggling, but also maybe the struggles that they're having themselves.
Right. And I'm glad you said that too about the church. We're using the church building, but they're not coming to church, guys, when you come to the retreat. Nobody's going to lasso you into anything.
Exactly.
Many of the Came to Believe facilities are done in church retreat centers and things around the country, because there are sympathetic places, and they're places that'll open their doors to us and let us use their facilities. We, as we've said, we don't endorse any particular theology or denomination or method of anything. We promote the God of the founders, who was the God from the Bible, and we introduce people to him, and then let them get led to where they want to go and continue their faith community. And if they stay in and join your church, Tim, great. But you don't care if they go wherever they go, right?
Are you kidding? I can refer you to some great places around our city who have strong communities and people that will love them. It's what works for you. That's what I tell people. I'm like, I want to know what works for you. I'm going to send you there. And so just like Came to Believe, it's the thing that works for a lot of people. So find out if it'll work for you. But if there's other programs, we are not opposed. In fact, we will refer you, we'll help you,
Right.
we'll make the connections, whatever you need.
And we have said that too. Maybe you got to go to detox. Maybe you need to go
Right.
see some medical help. I mean, go do what you
Exactly.
got to do. It's so important, Tim, because there are some places and faith communities, along with all kinds of different places, that have this entitlement. They want their own, right? They want to build their own community, and you're um, so in such a position that that it's not about you.
Right.
It's about them.
Right. Exactly.
And their freedom. So come, guys, there's no pressure to do anything. All we're offering you is what you could lose is have some fun over the weekend and learn some stuff. You got nothing to lose. And what might you have to gain is a whole new perspective and another tool in your toolbox,
Right.
which would allow you to have a different level of recovered, and maybe a connection with a spirit and a life that you've never dreamed of, which is what we found. And we are so excited to share it. And I want to comment on the church too. The facility is awesome, guys. I mean, I couldn't believe it when it was like graffiti on the outside, or there was, right?
Yeah, they're in the. It's funny, when we first got the building. Again, we're kind of in a downtown location, so people like to display their creative talents and gifts. And in the alley, somebody had spray painted the word "hope" on the wall. And literally, I was showing someone a building. I opened the dock door because we're an industrial warehouse, and there's this big word "hope," and it was like, oh my goodness, that's exactly what we are here to bring. And it was like somebody had kind of put the calling card out for us. And so it really has been encouraging for us to see, let's say, a church that is for people that normal church doesn't really work. I mean, I wear jeans. Seriously, it's like, we just want to be real, be genuine, and real people struggle. Genuine people have issues, and we don't help anybody by sticking our head in the sand. And again, that's been that cultural change in our community that says it's okay. We can be in process, and we all are. We're never going to reach perfection until one day, right, when this life is over. And in the meantime, we got stuff to learn.
We could say, right. Well, that's the other thing. We're not perfect by any means. It's stuff to learn too. We're open. So great working with you that are so open about all this. The building, guys, too. It's an old natatorium. Let's see who knows what a natatorium
Oh boy,
is.
yeah. There's a quiz.
Let's see. There's a quiz. So put it in the chat. I'm almost willing to say, Lisa, send them a shirt if they can tell. But you can't Google it. You have to know.
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, you have to know what it is. But the building across the street, Lincoln stayed there.
Yep.
The historic St. Joe, I had no idea it was like the crossroads to the west in the 1800s, where all the wagon trains started from St. Joseph. The Pony Express started there. Exactly. That was the first stop, and it went all the way to Sacramento. I didn't know any of this.
7 different trails either originated or ran through our city.
Ran through the city. So it's a historic place, and the building is historic. When was that built? In the 1800s, right?
Yeah, we really don't know exactly, but we know that when Lincoln stayed in the hotel portion, he was running for president. It was 1859. The city was founded in 1843, and we were the first 3-story brick building built in the city. So we're guessing probably late 1840s, early 1850s. Crazy.
It's crazy. And when you go there, you almost feel the history in the building, guys. You just feel some of those, the girders up top are obviously, the planks are original.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
It's such a feel of history, along with just such a peaceful place. And we're so honored to be able to come there and be able to do what we do and touch your community. The whole thing is just a wonderful thing.
Feels like a big snowball about to roll down the hill. There's the Hope picture. Look at that.
Wow. That's the building, guys. Doesn't look too scary, does it? So if some of you are on today, if we're reaching out into any of the community that's in the St. Joseph area, this is going to be posted on our YouTube channel. We're going to share it. Tim's going to share it locally. Yeah. We really want you to just come if you're so inclined. If you're hurting and you want to hear just something else, please feel free to come. Reach out to us on Came to Believe Recovery. Reach out to Tim and come and see us next weekend. And we'd love to meet you and see you and share with you what worked so well for us. It might be something that you really are so happy that you did.
Tom, should
Let's
we
see.
mention the fact that we're in a church and we're providing what normally you would do in a retreat center? The cost is significantly less too for people to come.
Right. It's significant. I mean, it's $50
Yeah.
to come. So it's and all that does is cover the expenses. It just is covering, and nobody's making a penny on this, which we don't. So it just covers it. So it's insignificant. And I know when we think about what we would have spent to drink or drug or do our engage our behavior just to live for a weekend, you'd have to buy food if you were home. Right. So it makes it even more. Yes, it's very inexpensive, especially compared to retreats that you have to stay at. Now, when you stay at the retreat, there's a benefit to it too. You're staying there and you have a room and all, but again, that expense goes towards that. So we're really excited. Let's see. We got a couple of comments, Tim. Maybe we can talk some. Okay. Nicole Morales says she's attending an NA meeting on a regular basis, and she has many sponsees through the group, and she uses our legacy guide with the ladies.
Awesome.
Some of the old timers, quote unquote, have issues with us sharing about God around the tables. I've had some backlash with them. I just returned back to the 12 steps and where they were originated. This is great, Nicole. That's all we do too, is say, well, we didn't make it up, right? It's just, I just returned back. 12. The only thing I say is that we all have the same desires for others to stay recovered. I love that, Nicole. Where are you, Nicole? We need you to come to one of our places. So yes, thanks very much for sharing. So the message is out there too, Tim. We're not the only ones with the message of what we're talking about, the founder's message. We're just a group that is engaged in doing it at our level and doing it wherever we can. And we're willing to talk with anybody else that's doing it. I don't care who, anybody having success and everything. I know that you've heard us talk about, harm reduction and doing things like that, which we've never been engaged with before, but making sure that we know that we're not against any of that as things go on, because we're meeting them wherever they are. We'd love to at least have them know if they wanted to do some. Oh, Nicole. Oh, yes, Nicole. I know Nicole. I think I know who you are. That's perfect. Wesley Branson's in. Anyway, us as we're growing and being so open to all these things, we're going to run into some of this stuff too, where we meet the people, Tim, like we're going to, who just don't understand. It's the lack of education. And I'll tell you that, I guess I can tell that story as we're starting to wind down, is when we were speaking with those, some of the individuals when I was out there to see you guys at dinner, and you remember the conversation, and one of the gentlemen said, it's a struggle. It's such a struggle, everything that goes on, and we understand it's a struggle. And it's just, and I said to him, well, I don't struggle with the use of alcohol and drugs. And it's just a product of what is being taught, or what is being heard. I should even say that. We don't even sure what's being taught.
Right.
But we just want the message out there that whoever you are, suffering from whatever you are, and even not just being in life, right, Tim, and all.
Yeah.
And we know the only person we probably know that doesn't need a retreat is your wife, right? She's probably the most perfect. See, I'm making points. Right. She's in the background.
Right. Honey, that's exactly right.
She's perfect in every way.
She is. 34 years married last Sunday.
And I was cheering you on Facebook, pushing all the likes and all about that 34 years. Well, it's really something to stay married to somebody for 34 years. And maybe she needs a Medal of Honor or something.
She does. Sainthood.
Well, I know that you know who the boss is, and it's not you, probably, in many cases. Although that's just another subject. So anyway, Tim, thanks for coming on today. I mean, I think we had a great conversation. I hope that we were able to help anybody. I hope that it was encouraging for you. I hope that you are relaxed of any kind of issues. And again, we're going to share this all over the place so that if you weren't able to see it today, you can see it before. Again, reach out to us. We'd love to see you. We are so excited about coming to Missouri next week. The team coming in to meet with Tim and his staff and team and all the people coming to bring this message of hope. So thanks a lot, Tim, and have a great weekend.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tom. Looking forward to it.
All right, Lisa, let's do this shirt giveaway. You ready? we can do the shirt. How many people do we have? I know you won't come on, but how many people do we have ready for the shirt giveaway? Like Doc Roth in again. And here we go. There's 11 people in. Tom Clancy. Awesome. He'll have another shirt to wear when he comes to retreat in Indiana, which I know he's going to be at, part of our leadership team. Great, great, great. He says, woohoo. All right, everybody. Great. I think it was a great show today. Again, I hope that we were able to, we spread some really good information for you. We want to talk all about all these subjects and more as we move forward. Lots of things in the future on our Fridays. Casera behind the scenes has been coming up, brainstorming all those things along with Lisa, keeping us going and keeping me on track and keeping us with subjects that you want to hear about. Write into us. Let us know. We want to talk about all things recovery that have to do that you guys want to hear about. Please go to our website if you want to find out where the next retreat is. And remember, you can go to that. Came to Believe in UK and Ireland. There are retreats, wonderful retreats over in the UK and Ireland. I've been over there in the UK and D, Cuniff and the team over there with Melissa and others and Gordon and others. We put the messages every bit as strong in the UK as it is here. This summer, there's retreats going on. And in the fall, if you want to go over to the UK, it's gorgeous over there and meet the team. Go over to the UK. We're hoping to launch out of the UK into Europe and other places as we can. The problem is strong everywhere, guys. The need is in every community, everywhere in the world, and putting this tool in everyone's toolbox so that when they decide that they have a problem of any sort and they are looking for any way of solution, we'd love to be on that list of things that they could engage with to try to solve their problem. Came to Believe Recovery, the program of the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, as close as we can present it. I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day weekend here in the United States. All of you fathers out there, congratulations. And I want to wish you a happy and healthy Father's Day weekend. And we will see you next Friday, where we will be coming to you live from St. Joseph, Missouri. Dale Barker, Alicia Martinez, myself, and Tim in person as we bring that message to Missouri. Have a great weekend, guys.